Yay. Okay, so you should be able to hear yourself, right? When you speak into the mic.
Right here.
Isn't that incredible?
I know.
Doesn't it just sound like you're in a spaceship?
I mean, this whole experience that you've created is amazing.
It feels so good.
I know.
So we didn't really have any intention per se into this drop-in. It's just like a regular conversation, but why don't we open up with that? Does anything come through for you?
Yeah, I feel that peace, the internal peace, inner peace, is at the forefront of my being, of my essence right now, with, arriving back home in Vinau after a 3-month journey, and, being confronted with so much grief and pain and suffering, and knowing that it was there, and knowing that it is here, knowing that it is everywhere, and being so excited to arrive back home here, and feeling inspired and internal peace and excited and joyful, and all of the, higher vibrational energies coming through, and then coming and feeling in real time what pain and discomfort it lives here, and it's compounded by being in such a small community, such a close community, and then, being confronted again a few days later with what's going on in the world. And this is going on in the world all the time. It has been for lifetimes. And now we get to have the gift of seeing it clearly. And in reflection, that is where I'm coming to, is the feeling of inner peace when you have clarity. And clarity comes from continuously sitting in the discomfort of what is coming up, because there is light and dark energy that exists, that is the duality of this universe, right, of this dimension. And I feel that for this lifetime, previous to this current lifetime that I'm in, I feel like I lived in the space of faith and hope and light, but I would reject the darkness, or say that's not there. It's all light, right? And now really being able to feel that, and it's through the clarity of what is, and not denying it, and not saying no, that's not right, or that's not wrong, or whatever it is. And yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but the conversation I feel right now is about peace for me. That's what's coming up, and seeing so many beings in grief, and projecting out their fear and their grief, it brings compassion into my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the work that I want to keep doing, is bringing compassion into my heart for myself, that it is okay that I am where I am, and it is okay that I'm witnessing and experiencing the grief of beings around me that aren't where I am, and not feeling guilty about that, not feeling shame about that, and letting that be and having compassion. And that's how a community can come together and unite.
Oh,
and that's what we're working with here right now, right? That's what's available for us as the opportunity for us as beings living in light, living in a peaceful space inside right now. That's the work for us. That's what's available. That's how we can go deeper. And that's how then we can shine that out. Because you can't tell someone this. You can't force someone to find inner peace. And I tried. I had these conversations this past week with beings who are going through severe grief and pain and suffering, and they've been going through it for lifetimes. It's rooted in our DNA, war and suffering. It's not the way. And now where we are in this dimension, in this universe, the veil is being lifted to light and darkness, and beings are awakening their senses, awakening their subtle body to know that we get to choose. It's a choice. And it's a hard one a lot of times, because it's going to the root of your ancestor lines.
All your karma.
Right? All your karma.
How many people have you killed?
Right?
Yeah.
And going against that. It feels like it's going against that. And so this is where the suffering gets stuck, and where so many people are stuck in their root. And where that's why we pass this down generation to generation. And because the veil is being lifted, because it's being seen, because we are waking up to understand energy, and that we are energetic beings living in a universe of energy, and what that actually means, people are, our fellow earth travelers are getting to experience that. And so compassion during this time for ourselves, that we can then shine that out. And that's what we project out, instead of these stories of atrocities and stories of fear and stories of hate. Separation, right? So that is what is at the forefront right now, is that continued work for peace. And we were talking about this last night, like, so how do we practice peace? How do we practice inner peace? Because otherwise we're just talking about it, right? And the practice is the tool that we get to take away, that we get to utilize, not use, but utilize to remember who we are. And remember that we are earth travelers. We are souls incarnated in this body that we get to travel this earth on. And the point of traveling on this earth is to take the curriculum so we can learn through these lessons of the experiences that are given to us, right? Everything's happening for us. And a practice that has helped me since being back now a week in Banal.
It's only been a week.
Right? I'm actually a week and a half.
Okay.
Maybe. This Friday will be 2 weeks. So whatever that is. Is honoring the earth every morning, other than this morning and yesterday. Well, yesterday we didn't, the girls and I, but going to the ocean, dancing, singing for her, singing with her, honoring her, talking to the flowers, talking to the plants. And it's such a subtle shift that I never remembered the potency of. And that is now now with all of the practices that we incorporate in life, right? Or that we've been over these years as we've been opening our eyes and our mind and our hearts. This one is the most potent. And this one does not require structure. It is the opposite of structure. It is the falling into remembering who you are by simply going outside and sitting with the sun and thanking the sun, thanking the grass, thanking the ocean, thanking the trees.
Yeah. Expressing gratitude for all of life.
Expressing gratitude.
Yeah, there was a few things that came up for me. I mean, one of the things was just, this is a world in which we have the opportunity for maximum karmic gain. And the way that that could also be rephrased is like the relinquishment of negative karma, or the attraction of and the taking on of negative karma. And I feel that for this incarnation in this world, because of how thick the veil is and how strong the sense of separation and duality is. And so to be in a place where you're no longer necessarily standing on the left side or the right side, but you're sideless as an observer from a standpoint of peace, is the big work in which we will continue to gain this positive karma, or relinquish all of the negative karma, if you will. And that's why we're all here, right? We all got some stuff to do here. That's why we chose to come here. And it's a special moment to be in what so many see as an incredible storm, like this dark storm. And to just be outside of the storm over in the sunny patch, and to just stand over there in the sun while everyone else is in the dark, rainy, thundery, stormy section, and to realize that actually, like, they're an inch apart. And it's not 22 miles this way. It's not next lifetime. It's right now. If you want to come and rest in the sun and be in peace, it's always there for you. So I love that share.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, how does one get to peace when they're in the storm? How does one get there? Good
topic.
Right? Like, and that's maybe many threads down, but you get to the peace by sitting in what is true. And we already know the truth. The truth has never left us. The truth is our intuition speaking to us. It's our body sharing messages, right? And so, but what has been the conditioning that human beings have received for many lifetimes, if not, let's just say generations, is the severance of truth. The severance of the subtle body, that we are sovereign beings.
What is the subtle body?
The subtle body is the body.
Okay. Physical body.
Is the physical body, feeling the feelings, being able to feel
emotions,
everything.
Yeah.
And knowing that they're messages. The messaging center, the messaging system of the body is the only truth.
Right.
And it ignites when we connect to nature. It ignites. We remember when we follow the principles of nature. The principles of nature are the only truth. Everything else is a story of a version of that based off of science, this, that. And all of that does is sever us from trusting ourselves and being able to listen to the messages of the body.
So you're getting it, like, I love what you're getting at, and this is super cool. So tell me if that I'm understanding this correctly. Science and human intellect rose up to the forefront and created, almost in a sense, a stronger separation, because now there is what is deemed to be an understanding of how the world works, right? We say, oh, we can predict the weather. This is how the weather works. This is how a plant grows. It needs sunlight. It needs water. And then there's this sense of thinking you understand how the plant grows, and it's rooted in a sense of like causality from this Newtonian linear perspective. And then that actually is the cause of the separation, because the truth is that everything is just naturally unfolding, right?
And there's many perspectives in that truth.
Right. That's the wonderful
in the linear,
thing.
Scientific version of the story, it's one perspective.
Right. And that is true to that being.
Of course.
Right.
But think of how closed that is. Think of how limiting.
Yeah.
Think of how it literally compresses the being down.
Yeah.
And forces them into chains, a prison
of separation.
Yeah.
Disconnection.
And all that it does is sever you from trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And how do you gain trust for yourself? You sit in the principles of nature, because that is the only truth. We were created to create. The earth is our life force. And we have completely severed our connection to asking the plant, who are you? What are you?
Yeah.
We just know, and we eradicate species that are invasive because we think that they're invasive, and we do all these things. And it's from one perspective. When the truth is there's many. And we hear people talk about the real world.
Yeah.
That's, again, one perspective of one version of the world, when there's millions of dimensions. Infinite. It's infinite. And so when I sit in that knowing, how can any of that be true? What our conditioning has like imprinted on us. And okay, it's gotten us here. Fine.
Evolutionary purposes, one could say.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
And this is how a being can come to peace, is starting to listen to the truth. Stop listening to stories of fear. And you'll only know when it's true when you feel it, when you allow yourself to open up and come out of the mind, the thinking mind, and into the heart space. And nature opens up the heart space.
Wow.
Sitting with the ocean opens up your heart space.
Yeah.
Same as all these other modalities and practices, but the true source, the potent source of energy, of true understanding of the human experience comes from nature. There is no supplement for that.
That's why we don't live in Las Vegas.
Or Los Angeles anymore.
Or Los Angeles. In the heart of the city. Where
any
it's
city.
Concrete
any
jungle.
City, really. Any city.
I'm just going to check the audio to make sure it's all running. It looks like it is. Hello! Perfect. One day there will be a being who gets to monitor everything, and for now it's me.
Perfect.
I love that, and I feel that that's a super incredible description of how one can find peace. I think we could go a thread deeper by maybe, how does one know that it's a sense of truth in their subtle body, right? Like, so I'm feeling into a past version of self that was once lost in the election, let's say, between two beings. It's true left and right. Like I'm in the spectrum of left versus right. And I'm leaning heavily on one side. And I feel that this is the right side, right? And I'm like, this is the person. This is the truth. This is the right side. And everything else is so distorted. And I had this incredible, sense of distortion. And I didn't really have the awareness to feel that like I did. So let me tell you an example. When I was tuning into this, I was getting really anxious. I was getting like nightmares. it was super weird. Like the deeper I got into the election stuff that happened during like COVID and all that, I thought the world was going to end.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit, this is it. The grids are going to go down. There's going to be mass arrests, all this stuff, you know, and just like, I was in a state of fear and I could feel that creeping up. And then there was a point where I was like, okay, I just need to let go of this. But there wasn't an awareness, a higher awareness of like, oh yeah, this sense of fear that you're feeling is not serving you. Where's the peace, you know?
And it's designed to create this in you.
Right.
It's designed to keep you addicted to the system, addicted to whatever
Choosing a side.
is exactly
Yeah.
addicted to the duality, addicted to the separateness.
Yeah.
The separateness was created. Our indigenous ancestors lived in tribes.
Yeah.
We created this nuclear way. We created the nuclear bomb. We created
Literally.
all of these things. We created this reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is created to keep you in it, to keep you in one perspective, to keep you limited. It was created to sever you from nature. Nature is where it all lives. Nature is where the truth lives. And so in nature, there is no politics.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
when a being is in that state, what I'm experiencing coming through is you have to, that's violent language, the opportunity and just the sheer awareness that you're feeling these feelings of fear, that is the start.
Yeah.
When awareness is triggered, when awareness comes into the being,
Yeah.
that is the start of the unfolding. And then you get to choose how you want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
The human experience is not meant for someone to tell you what to do and how to feel. That is fear. That is oppression.
Mm.
That is not the curriculum of living the human experience.
It's like ultimate suppression.
Right? So when that awareness comes in, the best guidance as a practice to move through that level, because it's all leveling up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awareness gets you to that level and then you level. I don't even want to say leveling up because it sounds like
Higher
hierarchy.
vibrational frequency.
Exactly. Shifting your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And when you recognize that you are having nightmares and you're in fear and you're in fear, the opportunity is to say, I am no longer going to perpetuate or like participate in this fear. I will not touch it.
Mm-hmm.
I will not touch it. None of it is true. Not an iota, not an ounce, not a morsel, not a fragment, not a molecule of it is true.
Relative to the highest truth.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the deeper your awareness gets, the more awareness you gain. This is how your energy field grows, right? This is how your awareness grows. This is how your magnetism, this is how it happens. This is how fast nature can support the being, can support the human experience. Mm-hmm. We were gone for 3 months. All of our roses died. We were back less than a week just from me loving them, pouring my love into them, attention, caring for them, watering them. They're all
I asked John, I was like, so why did they die, man? Attention. They didn't have attention. I was like, was it water? No. I was like, okay, got it. It was just attention. Incredible.
Right? So that's it. Making the choice, remembering, and it's subtle.
It's such a fine line.
Such a fine line.
It's such a fine
line.
And
all of it, and the first glimpse of it is remembering that you get to choose.
Right.
You get to choose to turn the TV on. You get to choose to open up your phone and go into news.
Divine will.
Right? You get to choose. But the programming, the conditioning is the template is created for the opposite, to tell you do not get to choose.
Right. Yeah.
You're consumed by it. You're consumed by it. And now everyone is consumed by it. So this is a reason why beings like us are sitting here right now, because we we've started choosing everything in our life.
Completely off the grid.
Right? We started choosing and then being like, wow, I'm sitting in Los Angeles and Venice in an oasis that John and I created.
Yeah.
And we were consumed by it. And then these are the choices. These are the deeper choices that really mean something. But it starts with the choice to turn the TV on or not.
Yeah. It does.
That's it.
Wow. And like to have that awareness, I feel like once a being has the awareness of what am I tuning into? My innermost being, which is rooted in a place of stillness, or the outside external reality that unfortunately, not that it's a bad thing, but is rooted in a lot of separation and fear for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to just get your thoughts on this. Like when you said it's not true, it's untrue. We're both in alignment that there's degrees of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that there is most certainly like falsehood, like there is distortion. But then there is this spectrum or this line, you could say, where you cross over and okay, it's true, but how true is it really? It's not the highest truth. Do you feel that way too when it comes to truth? Yes.
And the way that I'm working through that to cut through the garbage.
Yeah.
Is going to the foundation, right? So example of politics. It's all rooted in separation. So to me, there is no value in consuming any of that
doesn't make any
information. Sense. It's clogging our energetic channels.
Yeah.
It's choking them. It's causing trauma. It's creating fear. So you can choose based off of that knowing.
Right.
And this is what we sit in meditation. This is how you get to deeper levels of truth and raise your vibration and raise your awareness is like, what is truth? Yeah. How do we stand in our values? What are our values?
Right. Those are the incredible contemplative questions that lead to the pathway of enlightenment.
Exactly. And when you choose to stop consuming distortion and untruth, even a little bit of untruth, it gives you all of this energy back and you take back all of your energy to sit deeper in that contemplation, to gain higher awarenesses. But you can only get there by saying, that is not true. I'm not going to consume even a fragment of it.
Right.
Because it is so harmful.
Wow. Yeah.
To creep in even for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
And that was it for me. That's why I will not.
Yeah.
I can no longer consume even an iota of the news in the illusion of this third dimension that is created. I will not do that.
Yeah.
I will not. There is no value. It doesn't
serve you at all.
There's no value.
It doesn't serve anyone that's of this like awareness.
There's no value because I am choosing to not live in that one-dimensional world.
Yeah.
Three-dimensional, but like that one perspective. I'm choosing not to. So why am I going to consume any of it? So I know what's going on. I feel what's going on. I'm connected to the earth. I feel her. She cries.
Yeah.
She storms. She purges. Why do we need that? None of it's true.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the news is a hilarious concept.
But that's what runs that third dimension.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still in the third dimension, so I don't want to sound holier than now. Like, let's get real. But like, it's about choice.
Yeah. And I feel like part of the podcast is really just utilizing the mechanisms for displaying consciousness to help share a message of truth that's rooted in a higher place.
Yeah.
What else, what other way is there? And there is many other ways. Like you can simply just be, pause.
I mean, there's so many threads that are just coming to me now of all of this though is like, it's important to share. It's important to share a whole message here and not one of I don't know, and I don't resonate with this word, but I'm looking for another word, but like one of privilege, like a message of like, okay, awareness, but the truth is I believe that every being has access to their sovereignty,
for sure,
and access to the ability to receive truth, and then the capacity to live in that truth.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that to be true. And at the same time, the duality of what we're seeing in the world is saying that that's impossible.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, I feel like those are the, you could call them demonic like forces, that just want everyone to be in separation.
Yeah. This is delicious.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
You are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Nourishing everyone.
Yeah.
With connection and nourishment and food is like, these are the pillars of wholeness.
Yeah, that came through shortly after kind of just like starting to connect with you and John of just, okay, so what do I really need? Oh yeah, food, shelter, water.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Let me go learn how to cook. And then also let me feel into like the necessities of shelter. Oh, okay, I already have a house.
Yep.
Okay, great. I feel safe and secure, and like, let me just surrender all business. Yeah,
because that's how you can get that. That's it. These are the choices.
Yeah. So I'll give a brief intro to Brenna as a being, because it hasn't. I don't even know if your name was mentioned in the beginning. Which is fine. We kind of operate in a non-linear fashion.
We're operating on becoming nobody, like Rami, like our friend Ramdas.
Yeah, and the 6 million sages that are on this mic boom arm as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have this good quote here. Jesus Christ, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you, which is in relation to everything that we're talking about right now of like, tuning into your subtle body and feeling what is true for you. Mm-hmm. If Jesus is telling you that the kingdom of God is within you, oh, incredible. So you telling me I don't need to read the news to find out what's true or what's false? No. It's like, you know what I mean?
Well, and you will not receive that externally. That message is true,
right,
when you sit in the truth that only can come from within.
From within, yeah.
And our conditioning is the program that we've all gone through, the course that we've all gone through is to look externally.
Yeah.
This is what religion
does. I mean, even
does.
School, I'm looking at a teacher behind a whiteboard.
Everything.
24/7.
Everything is programmed.
I'm learning from
go externally to get the answers.
Textbooks. Everything.
Go externally. And that practice of listening to a speaker, which we do all the time, right?
Right.
Listening to all these beings, these gurus, these sages, let's not even label them, just these divine beings who have shared the wisdom that is channeled through them out into the ether. We are consuming that, and that is what we've shifted to consume. So therefore, that is why we are gaining this momentum of understanding that we are the being. It comes from within. That's the inner peace. And I just lost my thread there while we're talking about that.
We're talking about Christ and how the kingdom is within.
Yes, that's it. That's what Jesus, and that's what all of these saints and sages and gurus are sharing.
It's all the same.
And that's what religion is sharing. Religion, how many religions are there? How many religions were created? They're all stories of the understanding that the oneness is within.
Yeah.
that the truth lies within. And they've all been distorted in some way to look externally on this one being. This being will save you.
Right.
And it blows my mind that this is how the perspective has been pushed out into the matrix. And then that is where everyone goes for their salvation.
Yes.
And their sovereignty instead of right here.
It's not to thee, O Lord. It's to our next president.
Exactly. Right. And then it relates to politics. Like it's all one in itself. And so I don't want to say struggled. I don't know if struggled, but I sat with this. There was so much discomfort. It was so uncomfortable for me.
Right.
When my perspective shifted on spirituality and religion. And I had this moment, when I was on the computer one time of like Googling spirituality, it is not even recognized in the 3D world.
No.
All that comes up is about religion.
Yeah.
Spirituality is not religion.
Yeah. No.
Spirituality is universal to the human being.
Yeah, there's no borders around it.
There's no borders.
Yeah.
And religion has created these borders.
Yeah, religion points to one being,
right,
as the savior, most cases.
And it creates the individualism and the duality.
Right, yeah.
And okay, that's how this was created.
Right.
But now we have awareness, and it's not even it's not even available. It's not even accessible for beings to find it out. The truth. It all just comes back to religion. It's all censored to stay in this bubble of one perspective.
Yeah.
Looking externally.
Yeah.
Which severs you from the truth, which severs you from trusting yourself. And this is how indigenous beings lived. They believed in themselves, which therefore they shined and projected out believing in each other. And that is how radiant growth happens.
Yeah.
And in this bubble that we humans have created of fear, it's just a bubble of fear. That perspective cannot survive there. It is consumed and eaten. And this is why, which our friend Zach Bush shares so eloquently in many of his talks, this is why it is cancerous now. It is becoming fully malignant because it is a bubble of fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be what the vibration of fear does to the body is. Gets you sick.
Gets you sick.
Oh, man.
Gets you sick.
Let me tell you, I was not the healthiest when I was in that past lifetime of
none of us
the
were.
world of like politics and all that stuff. It
None
was
of
like,
us were.
whoa, deep.
Right? I don't think I would go the full day without eating. Full day without eating because I was so consumed with working and like,
all the stuff
and leaking my energy out to everybody else. Yeah. And it was what I needed. Yeah. To get me here. It's all happening for us. And there's no regret of any of it. There's no shame in any of it. It is though, when you wake up, you can't go back. This is when people deny their truth and betray themselves. This is what causes disease.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Is what causes pain in the body. Because your energy channels, your emotional traumas stick and compound and compound, and you choke your energy, choke. And then guess what? You have sciatica. Then guess what? You need to have a new hip.
And then you might die, and then you'll have to incarnate again and go through
it. like that's how simple it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not simple.
Easy. Or at least that's the story we're told. Maybe one day we'll stop telling that story. But
depends on the karma we have, though.
Depends.
Right. I feel like, it's a incredible. I was articulating this to Joshua in a certain way when we dropped in, and in this world in which we can go and gain, let's say, positive karma. So like beings like us, we are on this path of clearing any and all negative karma to be, of a higher vibration, more connected to Supreme Being, God, Divinity, whatever you want to call it. And then there's actually beings on the other side of the spectrum who are doing their best to serve the demonic like forces, and they are actually, by being more destructive within each lifetime, in a sense, they're actually progressing into what they believe is the ultimate, right? And it's incredible to see the beings that go to the depths of hell. It's incredible because you wonder what journey the soul has been on, right? And like, to be a being that gets to the depths and then realizes that, oh, got it. Okay. I made it all the way down here. And now I'm realizing that there is a border down here. And it is this thing, this demonic like force did not come. It is not the infinite source. And then you start going in the other direction. You realize, the infinite source from that which all has come is over there. And it's rooted in love and peace. And I feel like,
and balance within the system, the energetic system, which shines out onto the physical body. Yeah.
And you wonder, like, why? Not to say that all angels are beautiful, but
all beings,
people that are just of service and are like really rooted in their sourced truth, they seem to be, not always, they seem to be more healthy, more happy. And I love this quote, and I don't know where it comes from. It just comes through of like, who is more wise? Is it the most intelligent being or the happiest being? And like, you gotta have to kind of think about that one for a hot minute, because happiness, or you could say most loving, that is where it is, I don't want to be Einstein and do MC=². I want to be like laughing and joyful all the time, feeling connected to the infinite source.
Right? And look what we've created to look like success, that being the most intelligent,
right,
and the most smart,
the story
person in the room, is the most successful.
Individuality.
So we strive for that. We try to achieve that intellect.
Yes.
And all it does is keep us in the achievement and the ego and the identity. And then we can never actually detach.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, have non-attachment. You don't want to be
You
detached.
become more deeper rooted in it.
Exactly.
It's harder to detach because you get deeper in it. Yeah.
And that's what we're taught. So happiness is the new success.
Yeah.
And beings of light, beings who are doing this work, which we all are, and we're all on the path. It's just when it
opens.
On
the path,
the beings who are receiving the messages of truth and living in their truth, it is radiating out of them.
Right.
And that is what we're seeing, the reflection of beauty. And that is what we see as beautiful. And that's why every being is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have the capacity to radiate so much light that we, like Zach Bush just shared, which is so beautiful, that we phase shift before your eyes. And it's glorious.
Yeah.
And it's the most vibrant beauty you could ever fathom. And you didn't even know it existed. And it's in the form of this being who's living in truth in each moment. And that's what we get to choose.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate prayer. May we all be rooted in peace and go through the phase shift to get us there.
And so without being rooted in peace, you cannot get there. Without being rooted in joy and happiness and feeling that feeling and knowing that you can receive it naturally, holistically from the earth, from your connection to divine source, from your gratitude to this experience that we get to go on. Like, anything but that is not it.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because we are not going to have that maybe every moment of the day. And I have to share that as we go deeper, I'm feeling it more and more every moment. And it's it's a miracle. It's
infinite. It's incredible.
Infinite. It's a miracle. And so I know that it is that we have the capacity to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about a race, and it's actually about more and more rest.
Yeah.
Because the more we receive from the earth, the more divine wisdom that comes into our being and illuminates us, the more we have to balance out our nervous system, because we are forgetting and recoding our DNA. And that is real.
Mm-hmm.
That is a real rocky vibration that can hit the system. And so as we're learning, integrating it and resting into the wisdom is what the earth is sharing with us.
Yeah.
The earth needs sun and water to grow. That's what we need.
Nature.
Right?
Maybe this can be the title of the podcast. Something related to this concept of
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth.
My guru is Mother Earth.
I think that's great. That's a really good name.
Mother Earth.
That's perfect. My guru is Mother Earth. It couldn't have made it better.
Right?
That's perfect.
Then all these other beings we get to see them for as they are, as speakers. They're speakers of truth.
Yeah.
They're speakers of sharing peace and love and joy.
Yeah.
And that is a gift to
It's
receive.
a gift. Yeah. I feel that fully.
And we can stop following someone.
Yeah.
We can stop following something, some diet, some program, blah, 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 blah. Okay, bullshit. Let's stop following.
You know, there is that period though where like following is so
helpful.
important.
It is helpful.
You know what I mean?
I know. I always do this. I'm like, I get holier than now.
Well, there's just that phase of like learning that we all go through. And it could be, you know, shifted to this new way of parents being rooted in their innermost being and sensing truth from within themselves, not from outside themselves, and then passing that on to their children in the best of their abilities, right? And that'll be like the future of, I guess you could call it, development of the human beings, is parents that are tapped into that.
And the truth is, really the only true way of passing anything down, well, it's through affirmations, right? And through sharing the truth.
Yeah.
It's through
beingness. Yeah.
And that is what reflects onto the child.
Yeah.
And then the child reflects it back to you. And then you feel that wholeness that we're talking about, because it's not just one thing. It's the wholeness of being a human, of taking the human curriculum.
Right.
And then we be it, and the child gets to see it.
Yeah.
And receive it.
Yeah.
So they're getting it, and their consumption is divinity.
Yeah.
Their consumption is truth. They're not consuming anything that could counteract the truth.
Yeah.
That is the work as a parent, because children come through us. They are not ours. Our only role.
That's so funny. They come through us. They're not ours.
Our only role as parents is to share the truth. And to, until they have discernment, till discernment comes in to their being, to keep them safe.
Right.
And to always keep them safe. But until discernment comes in, it is to keep them safe and to tell them the truth. And it's not to keep them safe by telling them no. It's to keep them safe by, in the process of sharing, when they're in the act of something. This is how a child gains discernment, is sharing what is going on and what they can be aware of to protect their body and their energy.
Yeah.
Because the point is not to raise a child to be like you. The point is to share the truth so the child can learn to care for themselves. Because the only thing that we are sent here to do as humans is to care for ourselves. And then that is what reflects out onto every being.
Yeah. I mean, to realize your innermost being, and by virtue of that, be the ultimate teacher for those around you. That's what parenthood's all about. And keeping your children safe. I would love to add that, like, in sharing the truth, it's both subjective and objective, in that there's times when it's actually vocally expressed in like a physical bodily sense, and times when it's just emitted by virtue of your vibration in your presence, you know, and then how truth is rooted in love. And so,
and that's how you know it's true,
right? Because
you feel your body vibrates. You receive, this is a message that the body is sharing with you, that it's truth. And the more you feel these, what it could come in the form of a tingle, it could come in the form of like butterflies, like whatever, goosebumps, whatever it is.
Yeah.
These are the messages the body's sharing with you. And when we're so busy and we're stuck in our mind and we're not rooted in love, we miss these messages.
Yeah.
So we don't know how to tell what truth is, but that is how you know what truth is. The body is a sensory, an emotional body. It senses, and it will send you a sensor. Send you a message.
It's such a funny thing, because when you believe in individuality and personhood, you believe in that, but yet you don't tune into your innermost being, which is where this truth center is, you could say, right? And it's so funny, because to tune into the senses of the body when you feel good, and how this sense of feeling good from a whole place of wholeness, that's your truth. But to connect to that, you almost have to detach from the mind a little bit, and it's this weird, subjective, very abstract kind of thing that's unfolding, right? Like, it's not like you're seeing anything. There's nothing before you that you're looking at to see this. You can't see it. It's not in a textbook. You have to kind of go inside your beingness, and that is like so difficult for so many people who don't even believe that they're an infinite being, and who believe that they are a being of, that's a friend. They're like a being of separateness, and they're not an infinite being. They're going to die, you know? And like, that's what they believe. And because they believe that, they can't tap into that spirit that is able to immediately tell truth from falsehood. So it seems that there's a bridge, right? Of going from the intellect to the heart.
And it starts with meditation.
Yeah, that started with meditation for me too, right?
Or even if you don't feel confident in your being to know what meditating means yet, go sit in the sun.
Right.
Go put your feet in the grass.
Yeah.
And even if it's a grassy patch in the middle of a city, put your feet in it and sit with your face to the sun and your eyes closed.
Right.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. And that's where it starts.
And it might be tough in the beginning, as it was for me.
Very tough. How many times does the mind come up and say, you don't have time for that? What are you,
or
stop.
Just like all the
what
stories.
Is it even, what are you talking
It's not even enjoyable really in the beginning. You're kind of like
so uncomfortable. You're sitting in this position. Your back hurts instantly.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, what?
I would rather be in a spreadsheet on the computer trying to make money.
Of course, because that's where you're comfortable.
Right. Yeah, you're comfortable in like
that's what you've mastered.
The experience and the separateness, not the subjective beingness that is within you.
And look what we've done. We've said, you don't want to be uncomfortable ever. Right. Take a pill.
Oh,
you're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
your back hurts. Take a pill for it.
Yeah.
And then you just that thought process of going outside or not doesn't even start. It doesn't come in anymore.
Yeah.
It's just this.
Let me go to the pharmacy down the street and pick up some highly addictive medicine.
Yeah.
They call it medicine.
Medicine. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny?
That's such a good
drugs.
thread, right?
Let's just be clear.
Yes.
It's drugs.
Wow. And then
the war on drugs really went south.
Yeah, that was so funny. I was just going to say all the actual medicine was called drugs, and that was banned. We can't have everybody happy and living like hippies. Then we can't win a war. Right. And if we can't win a war, we can't be a sovereign country. And if we can't be a sovereign country, we're going to lose all sense of individuality. And it's like,
and then what will we be? What will we be? Well, remember that we're all brothers and sisters of this dimension,
right?
And that other dimensions are also our brothers and sisters. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all
and that we're all in this together.
coming from the same source.
And that we're all one.
Yeah. This is a funny prayer for me of just like, can we all just live as brothers and sisters without borders?
Yeah.
It's a funny concept, right? Like,
so funny.
Borders and walls, and I'm a Canadian.
Yep.
This is like
And
this immediate sense of individuality.
And I'm a Democrat, and I'm a this, and I'm
I'm
that.
a dentist.
Right?
I'm a businessman.
It's all created
I'm
to
this.
create identities, and then you have to attach to that identity,
right?
because that's how you become successful. Because it's all rooted in money,
And there's security there.
right?
There's
It's like
all
of it.
the.
It's all blah, blah, blah.
Wow, that's incredible. I love all of that.
I know.
That
And then
is
there's
the
this
work.
other world or this other perspective that none of that matters,
Right. And you can let go of it all.
because none of it actually matters.
And you'll actually be happier.
Of course, because everything shifts from being so focused on your identity and preserving your identity,
Yeah.
escalating your identity, becoming the most powerful,
Yeah.
becoming the most successful, becoming blah, 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 blah. When that all is clearly not important to this human experience,
Yeah.
look what you take back. Look at all the time, the linear time, because we're still living in linear time, although we have shifted that a lot here
Right. Yeah.
without setting schedules.
We're
and
timeless beings over here.
right?
We don't have calendars. They
There's
don't exist.
none of us have a calendar.
I don't have a watch in
None
this
of it.
house.
Sometimes I look at my phone at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the next time I look at it is at 5 p.m. We live in community.
Yeah.
We're choosing this, right? And so we're shifting out of that linear time, but that is still there, right?
Yeah.
And now I just lost my thread. I forgot what we were talking about.
This is what happens when you go like 42 million threads deep.
I know, we do this all the time.
It was such a good thread. It was coming off of identity and
Yes.
and the sense of impressing others.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Oh,
what
and
I was
how when you let go of it,
saying. Yeah.
everything actually unfolds in the most magical, beautiful way that you could have never possibly have thought to
Never.
create yourself,
Never.
because it doesn't come from identity.
And it doesn't come from planning.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it doesn't
you
come
can't
from
plan this.
forcing.
Yeah.
Like, look what happened when we forced Mother Nature to grow things. We created the most horrible chemical and pesticides that is in our soil now.
Yeah.
Nothing comes from forcing
Yeah.
or pressuring. It's just love.
Wow. Step out of the way and just let nature do its thing. I mean, what else could you ask for?
Care
right?
for
Like,
it. It's not
care
with
for it,
neglect,
yes.
right? Neglect is not the point.
But don't try to like
care for it.
manipulate it.
No.
And like
There is
think that.
there's no manipulation in truth.
Yeah.
They do not go. They repel each other.
Mhm.
They repel each other.
This brings up so much, which is so incredible, but like the electro culture movement.
Yeah.
And I don't even call it a movement, but like just seeing that rise in terms of people that are able to grow crops so quickly and have them like insect free because they put some copper and a wire around it.
That's what we started doing.
Like, I know I've seen it in your guys' house, and it's just been like, whoa. And so, you know, and then there's the antithesis of that, which is like become dependent on all of these, you know, sprays that we're going to give you to take care of your crops and make them invincible.
And everyone's dependent on it.
Yeah.
Everyone has become dependent on going to the store. So that's the opportunity. That's how we become self-sustaining. Is we start small in our yard, in our own
Start
garden,
small,
by
baby
literally
steps.
planting a seed and watching it grow.
Yeah.
And just giving it love and see what it does.
Yeah.
And then from that, I'm not a betting person, but I would almost bet that it will expand from that.
So likely.
Because you will see it and you will feel it. And then love fills into your heart because you see a miracle before you.
Yeah.
It's like the birthing experience.
It is.
Like experiencing this miracle inside of you and then birthing it into the physical realm
Right.
is
It's miraculous. It's incredible.
It's
Right.
talk about a medicine journey.
Right.
And you receive that same euphoric feeling from watching a plant grow. From the other day, oh my God, I don't know if I told you this. When I was doing qigong with Lee, I was feeling this space of saying, I want a sign, like, Mother Earth, please share a sign with me that we are safe here and that this community will get through this and that we are rooted in love. And I don't even know how many whales.
I remember this story. Yeah, incredible.
And I stopped qigong. I stopped the class and I said, is anybody else seeing this? Or am I the only one seeing this?
You stopped the class.
I mean, it was at a pause. It was in a switch of a movement.
Yeah.
But I was like, guys, is anyone seeing this?
Yeah.
And no one could see it from where their height was.
Yeah,
And it was just right. They were right in front of me. And there was, I don't even know, so many. And they were just they were swimming in a circle.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were dolphins or whales, but what came to me is that they were whales. And I just, tears started running down my face and I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
That is it. And then I felt that feeling of oneness and I felt the feeling of bliss and I felt that Satchitananda.
Wow, incredible.
Felt it. And I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. The practice of loving yourself. When you love yourself, the gift you're giving yourself is freedom, and freedom to receive the truth in every facet of your being,
Yeah.
in every moment of your life, if you choose. And you receive that by being in nature, and not just being in nature. And saying caring and like opening your heart to it, but that happens naturally when you truly sit in nature and allow her to hold you, allow her to share wisdom, give yourself the space to sit with no agenda.
Yes.
Right?
Oof.
How do these communications, how do these connections come up? There's no agenda.
Yeah.
There's no planning. It's an excitement to connect at a soul level.
Yeah.
Because we're aligned.
Yeah.
And it feels so beautiful. So there's no planning necessary for anything.
Right.
It's being right here, right now. And we talk so much about the past and the future. It's not true.
Right.
It's just not true. Yes, you can do vision work and think of what you want, but even putting a projection on it is not true.
Right.
You will not receive the full potential. You will not be living in your full potential.
Yeah.
It's okay. You got to take steps sometimes. You got to get
Right.
it.
The vision board's a nice little baby step.
It's wonderful. And I
Yeah.
still do it. I still do it in my own way.
Yeah.
I still do it in my journaling. I do it. I know the potency of it.
Yeah.
It's potent.
It's a practice of manifestation.
Yes.
What you hold in mind tends to manifest.
Yes, but it cannot manifest by expecting anything from anyone else.
Yeah.
It only truly manifests in realness, rooted in generation through sitting in nature.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Incredible. You know, I mean, I feel so blessed to be in nature, like where we are, because yeah, like when I go out and do a meditation or and by meditation, it just means sit down, close my eyes, and just tune into my innermost being and speak from the heart. Mm-hmm. And sometimes sit in silence for extended periods of time. But like, there's this deep sense of connection that's so accessible, and it's so right there all the time. And it's incredible to just wake up in the morning and like go to the beach and throw down a tapestry and to just sit down and speak. And whatever comes through, comes through. And to feel like you are an instrument of God in which words just naturally come through. You don't know what you're going to say because you're not thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And so it's coming from the heart and it's not coming from the mind. And when you do that, like, it's just this true sense of, whoa, man, am I really just one with all? Am I really just this like infinite supreme being? Is that really the true nature of that which I am? And it's a blessing to be here where we get to just like walk outside and like tune into that all the time. And that's why we are here. That's why we can't live in a major city. It's like too difficult. There's just too much going on. And you could do it, but it would be like an uphill battle, and I would never choose it.
No, it's just like when you choose, when you choose the energy that's in your field. I'm unwilling.
Yeah.
I'm unwilling to allow the consumption of such fear be in my space and manipulation be in my space. I'm unwilling.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's why we clear spaces.
That's why.
That's why I got a lot of sage.
That's why we got a lot of sage.
That's why I got 4,000 incense in my closet. Like at least 20 pounds of sage.
Yeah, that's why we have our friend send us boxes of them to share, because they're so powerful. It's such a powerful tool to help to support the wholeness.
Yeah.
To support like the trust.
Yeah.
All of these things are. And you don't need any of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the wonderful thing, right? It's like, there is this fun aspect of just like the human experience, man. Like, like, wow, cool. Sage and incense, love it. Right. I'm not just going to like negate all that is before me in the act of finding God. It's like, no. It doesn't have to be that way. No. You can enjoy sage and incense and have ice cream and also like,
it's intentional.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's just all intentional, right? And it's like when you start to really be intentional about where you are sharing your resources, right? Because our resources are energetic. It's all energetic. And when you generate resources, the how the fullness stays in its circle and stays in this sphere, right, of happiness and joy and living in your truth, is you're supporting beings that you believe in.
Yeah.
Right. And you're supporting what they're supporting and what they're creating. Yeah. And then that's where your resources are going. And so everything starts to shift on this major level. Yeah. And all of the material things that you thought you needed or wanted, you start to sit with more.
Wow.
You sit with the cart. You don't just buy it. You sit with the cart. Do I need all of these things?
Yeah.
Where is it going?
Yeah.
What am I supporting?
Yeah.
What am I perpetuating?
Wow. Yeah, you really start thinking down the line.
You start thinking.
And you feel into...
Because it's all...
where your energy is going.
It's all like a part of it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how you remove the masks as you ascend.
Right. At a deeper level, like that awareness is so incredible. I feel like I picked up a lot of that awareness from you guys. And I remember getting into, what is it called when you save your food and you put it in the dirt? Composting. Yeah. I was just like, this is insane. Yeah. Are you telling me that all the stuff that I've been throwing in the garbage my whole life has been able to support the earth? Mm-hmm. And not only by throwing it in the garbage are we perpetuating the garbage problem that the earth has, but like I'm choosing that. Like, whoa, man. And like, why was there a lack of awareness for 26 years? Where was the lack of an awareness? And I learned about it in school. I learned about composting, but it didn't matter because like
you're learning about it, but no one's doing it.
Household doesn't do it.
No one's doing it.
No one's doing it. It's not like commonly
it's a thing of the past.
And it's not a common thing. It's done. Everybody's like, I'm gonna get a garburator. Yeah. Like, wow, man. And then you wonder, like, okay, where is the energy going? Yes, I'm supporting the garbage in the ocean. Okay, let me put it and build a composting bin. Wow.
Because it no longer aligns, and you feel it in your body. I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it. I did it.
It feels so good.
Yeah, I did a Price Smart order today.
Yeah,
which is basically like going to Costco.
Yeah, it is
for like, stuff, and whatever. I only would buy anything organic there, but even that, it's a Costco organic. It's like I'm supporting this massive
wholesale mecca.
Yes. And I'm like, and John and I got into a whole thing on this just now before we came.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Because this is how communicative we are and have to be is a violent word, choose to be at times so that we stay aligned.
Yeah.
So that we stay sustainable.
Yeah.
Do we need this?
Right.
And then I got into the thing. I'm like, I'm grateful for you to bring this to my attention because I have been sitting with this. It doesn't feel good to utilize this channel anymore, but I don't have something else ready yet.
Right.
I still haven't driven our car here. I still don't even know how to drive a manual car. So that's my block. There's all these blocks that come up, right? That come up of like, but I need to do this because I need to supply the cafe and I need to and then you're out of your truth.
Right.
And then you're doing something that feels like work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good anymore.
Yeah.
And this is how we perpetuate these things. And this is then we go in and then we go down these roads for a long time. And then we get away from the true nature of what we're trying to do, which is actually be sustainable and support what is happening here in our community and not feeding the beast.
Right.
Not feeding the ego, not feeding the material world.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, that awareness is there. Now I'm going to shift. I am no longer going to choose this.
Right.
And then you take action.
Yeah.
You take action in finding beings, connecting with beings, calling in beings who are doing these things in sustainable ways so you can support their growth.
Yeah.
Because they're supporting your growth.
Yeah.
And that's the energetic exchange. And that's how when you generate resources and you put them towards an energetic exchange that's aligned, that's how you generate massive amounts of resources that you could never even fathom.
Imagine. Yeah.
When it's aligned.
It's incredible.
And not once are we talking about money.
Yeah, well, there is that too.
But it is money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It relates to money, but the perspective of it being your energetic resource, because that's what we've turned it into in the material world. But outside the material world, money doesn't exist. It's all energetic exchanges, and if it's balanced, if it's valued.
That's what a price is, right? We're determining what this thing is worth and then slapping a number on it. And then the number goes from you to you. And therefore now it's yours.
And I mean, there's a whole thread on this that I can do with all of these, with everyone, with every coach and being out there who's, sharing these things at these high values. It's just keeping people in the system that they have to make more in these ways. Because that's not the value.
Yeah.
Where's the accessibility?
It's
so
incredible.
That you can keep learning.
Right.
No, people don't want that. They just want to get what's theirs. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother thread. I'm not going down that. But
it's a big thread.
It's a big thread.
I was in that thread for a long time in business. Yeah. It's a real thing. And it's incredible to see all of here's how you can make $1 million tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wasn't that deep in it. That's like, borderline scam stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I was definitely a perpetuatory person in the realm of like make more money,
generating quickly.
Yeah. But and do it faster.
Right. And does any of that come with a balanced living lifestyle?
Being in that cycle? No, not at all.
Right.
You literally cannot function.
So that's
in a balanced way when you're there.
That's what's being idolized. That's what's being iconicized.
It's revered to have, like a lot of money, a big following, all of that.
And it's happening in the spiritual world.
Yeah. No, it's incredible to see it enter this
massive
spiritual world where it's like
massive production. And it's just like, whoa.
Yeah. So I had this incredible breakthrough with John last night. I'm so stoked to tell you this because it relates to the podcast. I had this moment where I just had the realization. You were at the peace prayer thing at this time. I had this moment where I broke through in that the last thing I want is the podcast to be about me. Okay, now let me give more context to this. Because I was going back and forth on, is it going to have its own name? Will I just put it under my own personal name? And I had the realization that actually what I feel super inspired to do and what really is coming from my heart center as like, wow, that feels really good, is the creation of a brand that has its own name, and underneath that brand entity, you could call it, is certain beings that feel so aligned with the mission and the vision and the purpose of whatever it is that this entity is, which is, pretty much my vision for it is like peace. But it's like the vision and the mission is kind of irrelevant because it's really just, I'm just doing this. I don't know. It's coming from the heart. But I'll slap a vision on it and I'll call it world peace, and I'll slap a mission on it and I'll call that raise the consciousness of mankind. And then people that want to be supporters of this, we could call them chiefs or like brand ambassadors. This is the business term that you use, like brand ambassador. But like we'd probably use something funny like chiefs.
Yeah, I'm saying we can go into the template and shift the template in a joyful way.
Right. And so this is what I was feeling into and having this breakthrough on was like, okay, so I'm picturing like an Instagram page like Satori, and then I'm picturing the bio that has several beings like you and John, like me and Claudia, whatever. And those are defined to be like some of the primary contributors to this entity, you could say. And then all of the content that comes through it is put under this. And so in the beginning, I was like, I'm going to just put everything under my personal name. And that felt super relevant and good. And I was like, I can't see it any other way. And then there was this huge shift where it was just like, no, it's not about you, and you don't want it to be about you, man. Like, get the fuck out of there. Like,
it's not about people following you.
Right. And there was that sense of relief in being like, ooh, yeah, I don't want 22 million people, like whatever. What I really do want is the representation of truth and being for truth, and doing that with other people.
Exactly.
Like, so it was such a wonderful moment of just like, oh, okay, cool. It's not going to be a Joe Rogan thing. Like,
because then it
I don't want to center.
business.
And the other thing is, if you center it around the name, there's just a lot of potency there. And like Jesus was really incredible when he said, it's about the teachings, not the teacher. And like, so I feel that there's a wonderful sense of separating out that and putting it under something that just represents truth. Call it Satori, a moment enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it, right?
My fidelity is to the truth.
Yeah, it's a symbol that represents that. And then I had this incredible download of like, okay, cool. And if you like, so John wrote a poem and it was such a beautiful poem. And I was like, wow, I wish that I could just share this. And then it came through of like, if you write a poem and you write it down and it's incredible and you want to share it with the world, you could take a photo of it and send it via WhatsApp to an editor that I'm going to hire, who is going to receive it and then formulate that into the branding style and that fits the brand, written in that beautiful quotation style format way. And then maybe also the raw image of the poem itself in the notebook. And then there's a small tag that's like, from the creator, which let's say is Brenna. And it was this moment of just like, wonderful. So this is how we build the boat that is universally accessible to all people who align with what it represents, which is truth. And so like there will be sort of like a founding fathers, you could say, and then like more people will come into it that align with this. And if there is a moment where someone isn't aligned with it, they will be temporarily removed or just like pulled out, because it's like, well, we want to represent truth. And so we also have to kind of keep each other accountable throughout this journey and make sure no one gets beset by a demon, because like when you are speaking the highest truth, that's also when like the highest ranking stuff comes after you.
Right. And so that's where, when we're all in connection and we're all in the work, our awareness of energy will continue to heighten, and we will continue to be aware immediately. John and I have a 3-month container that we created in our experiences with welcoming in aligned beings who are excited for the mission.
What is this?
Like when we are calling,
container?
Well, when we're calling in people in our experience over these last few years of how we operate our, let's call them businesses, whatever, operate our creations that we're putting out there. We have like a 3-month, said, not said understanding that if we are aligning, like after 3 months, if the alignment and the connection isn't deepening, then we're not moving forward together. This is when you said, I'm going to hire someone, right?
Yeah.
The perspective shifts of like, okay, this is just a perspective that I thought of as you were sharing, is what if the perspective is, and this is where it will be, and I know you're sharing this in terms of the template, right? Like hire someone and bring them on.
Yeah.
And an alternative perspective to that of how this grows is that by this right now, you sharing out a vision in the most aligned way, such as I'm calling in a being who is aligned, who comes into my field in such a beautiful way that this feeling of a need that's coming up that I have for expansion will align with this being, and it will connect, and we will collaborate, and this being will be a part of what we're doing.
Right.
And that is how something grows organically and naturally without creating, this is what I'm going to do now. This is who I need for this to hire, because putting that energy into the field is keeping you in a previous perspective, and you're in a new perspective of how this is going to grow. And this is how it grows organically.
Right. And it's all just unfolding.
Yeah. And then the thought of like something happening because you're not aligned with someone, you're not even thinking that, because the connection is so deep on such a moment to moment,
right? That
and then you take care of one another.
Yeah.
And we see after and we see after 3 months if someone is staying aligned or if they're getting lost. And if they're getting lost,
now
then we can bring them back.
Now I get.
And
I just got that
if
thread.
we can't bring them back, then we have to let them go.
Yeah. You're referencing just like kind of feeling into the relationship in a period of time.
Exactly.
Got it. Yes.
Right. And this is how we stay super attuned to energy.
Yeah.
And how it's coming into our field as we grow, as we expand, as we rise as a collective. Of course, the fields are coming in and they want it. They want it. So we have to stay sharp.
Very sharp.
Have to. Again, with my violent communication, we get to do this in community.
I don't think you have violent communication.
Have to is a violent way of saying something.
I agree that we should speak in non-definitive terms.
Yeah.
But it's
maybe definitive. Maybe
not necessarily
not violent.
It's like just like
it feels violent to me.
Yeah,
because it goes into
I think
this
you feel the sense of untruth in it. As soon as you say it arises.
Exactly.
I know that, so where I'll like catch myself, and I'm like, wait, hold on.
I know.
Hold on, I know that just came through, but let me just do Control Alt Delete that, and let's re-put that in there because I don't want to be accountable for this. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
Yeah,
that is incredible. Well, let me tell you that the job post that I made on one of the platforms requests, there's a little hidden part, like it's a one pager, and like in the middle of this paragraph where it doesn't make it, it's just like kind of like the sentence is going, and all of a sudden it's a completely different sentence. It says, please put Jesus in the title of your application. And I do this because I want to know who read it fully through, and I want to know who's really there and who is actually interested enough to make it to the bottom. Because the way it was written was so funny. It was like, are you rooted in God and have a sense for like a passion for being of service to mankind? It was super funny. And so some applications have come through.
No way.
And like, some of the people that are just like, and the words and the reflections are so funny. It's like, this ministry is so like these words. I don't know these words because there's some religious words coming up because Jesus is like so revered in like a religious way.
See, again, no one knows him. No one feels spirituality from him. They go immediately to religion.
It's like this. So it was super funny to receive these, and I'm really excited to go through some interviews with beings.
Wow.
Yeah, and like for anyone that hears, I'm calling it anybody, right? I think
and you might already have that being. What about the being who you shared?
Yes,
you already have the being.
He's incredible, and
that's the piece as we grow, and as especially in the where this is a birthing experience, right? This is the birthing of a new way, and like. Go into community always first.
Yeah.
Go into community so we can raise community.
Yeah.
Raise that vibration. And then that's how it radiates out. And then like, and maybe this is a fun experience to interview people, but that could also be something that shifts too, that it doesn't even have to be that it's all beings that come into our field based off of the community involvement and the community support of raising the vibration of the community. And making a call out into the world, out into the matrix is pretty cool too, right? So it's just where you are. It's just what feels aligned. And and yeah, I just thought I'd share that too.
No, I love that. I think that's really important. And it makes me reflect on like culture in companies is super important, and to work with a team where everybody is fully aligned in like a soul level, like where we all kind of feel like we're brothers and sisters. It's a big deal. And this is, hearing you say that kind of just makes me reflect on, you know, the job post that I made was on a website that's offshore in the Philippines. And like, I've had such an amazing experience of working with beings from this country.
Me too.
And they are so rooted in God.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And they're so hardworking, and like, they're so brilliant also. I cannot begin to describe how talented and brilliant some of the beings, like the developers that we've hired from there. It's like, blows my mind. And, you know, that's wonderful. I feel like there is a role there. There's a role there for sure. And there's also, you know, someone onshore, someone that is maybe here locally that could and would be willing and would be wanting to do it. And that I'm super excited, and like, I'm fully calling that into, right? Like, you know.
How amazing is that the impact you can have on a being right here in this community to come out of any perpetual cycle of extraction that many beings have lived in their entire life. Yeah. That is the impact that you can have immediately right here in this community. Yeah. Into safety and trust. And start that experience with a being right here who's experiencing it. Who's experiencing extraction. Yeah. And that's the whole point when we tap into that realm, or we tap into this matrix, is like the touch points of impact, of healing, holding space for beings to heal these traumas, these lineage traumas that come out in work. Yeah. That's what we get to do. Yeah. I mean, through work. Yeah. That's been the inspiration with Abraham and Danny, but with Abraham coming into our family in the way that he did, is like, this is not a job, man. Yeah. This is a way of being. Yeah, this is a way of being. Do you want to create? I see you. Yeah. I see your glorious nature. I see your beauty. I see your creative talent, your creative expression. Like, it's so rich. Yeah. Do you want to create every day? Yeah. Do you want to live in your highest creative expression? Yeah. That is what this is. Yeah. That's the offering. That's the offer. There's no other offering to anyone ever again. That's funny. There's no job. That's the best job description. There is no job. And, you know, John and I have had this perspective along with Charlie Kashmir for the last few years, and it's been super hard to integrate that in the matrix. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Beings can't handle it. It's very different. And so we've gone through all of these iterations. Tell me my salary and what I have to do. It's like, okay, don't tell me what do you need? Create. Even asking someone what they need. What do you need? Right. What do you need to live? Right. Wow. What do you need to live? That's the realest question. The answer is yes. What do you need to live? The answer is yes. We are abundant. The answer is yes. What do you need to live? Beings can't. They don't know, they can't access that. They can't access that truth. It's inflated. It's convoluted. Yeah. It's filled with trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have that opportunity to open it up to them.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do.
That is one of the greatest gifts of being a manifesting generator, of being able to generate resources that we can share out in a way that is accessible, that is breaking the chains,
paradigm, the traditional paradigm,
right? Yeah. Breaking these hierarchies of keeping beings down. We are all one.
Yeah, it's incredible. To just open up a container in which the being comes in and it's like, yeah, so this is a way of being and that's all.
That's it.
This is what you need to live. Okay.
Yes.
Great. So we can pay you that. And so you can just do this as long as you want.
What do you want to do? What feels good?
Yeah.
Where are you?
That's an incredible thing. Because, the traditional is, that which we just described is nonlinear. And the traditional path is very linear in here's what we're offering you. It's X amount of dollars per month. Here's what you have to do. These are your responsibilities. And these are your skill sets. That's why we're hiring you, because you have these skill sets.
So you have to perform.
So you have to perform.
Perform now.
Yeah. And we're expecting that.
Every day.
Yeah. And the nonlinear approach is so much so it's just rooted in this deep sense of connection with the being and giving them the freedom to be that which they are and fully come through in their incredible radiance instead of trying to put them in a box and be like, you're this, you're going to be the bartender, you're going to be this, the janitor. And it's oh, I'm so limited to this one role,
Exactly. And honestly, it has not, I don't even want to say successful. I don't even know what to say. It was not resonating in our previous life before here with beings. It would resonate for a while.
Yeah.
And then
something happened.
And then everyone gets caught. They get caught back up in being consumed by it. And unless we're in such close connection all the time, yeah, bringing them back, remembering, reminding, they can't hold it. And then it becomes a thing. And then it's just then you part ways. And this is how the template works.
Yeah.
This is why there's a year cap for people to stay in a job, a retail job, or this job or whatever, because that's not it.
Yeah, that's not it.
Forcing. There's no forcing. There's no forcing in nature. Yeah. What are we doing here? The whole template is not true.
Right.
It's all because it's all rooted in putting people in boxes. And forcing. Yeah. And none of that's true down to the foundation. Right. It's not true. If it's not true in nature, it's just not true. You don't even have to touch it again. You don't even have to look into it. You don't even have to maybe try to. It's just not true.
Yeah. And nature is so nonlinear. People think it's linear. The seed turns into a sproutling and then this. It's well,
because that's how we can logically wrap our head around it. Right?
Yeah, that's how you see it unfolding. But really, it's just non-linear. It's not in a box. Yeah, there is no box.
There's no box. You can create these containers, right?
Yeah,
I don't even know if I like that word.
The box.
You can create these containers, but ultimately, it's the process of letting go. And then that's the process of the creators of whoever's creating is to continuously let the ego come up and let it go.
Yeah.
Let the ego come up and let it go. And it happens to me all the time when I walk in after not being in the cafe for a few days. And I'm like, is no one seeing the dust? Is no one seeing the rug? Is no one? And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Can you just be? Or are you so confined by the template of conditioning or programming that this is the first thing that comes up? Can you not see the beauty that's being created? Can you not see the connections that are around you? Can you not see the being as they are?
Do you are you just overemphasizing this in this moment, or was that an actual thread that you went into?
I go into it all the time.
Wow.
And it still comes up.
Wait, can I just say something?
Yeah.
This is so cool. I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay. And I this came through pretty hard from Muji recently, and it's come through in other sages' works that I've gone through, and like it landed so hard for me. The thoughts are like the characters auditioning to be on stage. And so the more you continue down the thread, the further you get from the source. And so when I hear you going into this thread, I'm like, hold on. You know that like the mere acknowledgement of that thread and to continue down that is to go in the wrong direction. Yeah. So I would just fully urge you to like feel that like, wow, like you have this incredible awareness. Okay, that's it. And
that's what brings me back.
You know, like you are it. Like you don't even need to question it or doubt it or feel that like, why are you like, it's just like, whoa, no, like you're just there, you know, like that's super incredible that you, shows how like deeply and passionate you are about like, you know, aligning with truth.
Yes.
That you're like almost fighting within a higher awareness, you know? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
it comes up for me too. I have my own threads that come up, and actually I've never gone down that thread because that's almost like a higher awareness thread battle. Right? Of like, wait, but you are this infinite being and you understand that it's okay. And it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, it's all good. We can be spiritually kind to our spiritual awareness that we have, which is so incredible. Right? But the threads that I've been going down are more so just any thread pops up and there's the sense that, okay, just let go of it. Like, just, like I said, just gonna let go of that thread because
thought.
Why am I thinking? No, I'm just gonna let go of that. Yeah, so it's super cool to feel how like for me, I feel like in the beginning there's almost this sense of shame and guilt and like going down that path with a higher awareness and like kind of battling it, you know. There's this sense of like, oh, I know this, so like in like, yeah, and I've felt that many times. But actually, what's so incredible is that the pathway of surrender leads us to know that like we don't even need to question it, and you just need to just shut the fuck up, man. Just chill out and like realize that yes, you got the right awareness. Now just leave it there. No need to battle it or second guess it or doubt it. And it's so wonderful to hear Muji say like stuff like, yeah, just don't feed the thoughts.
Just don't
feed the monkey mind.
Don't feed the thoughts. And that's
it's so wonderful.
Right? Because then the ego gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you become the boss. And then you become, in a box. Right? In the box. And then you become the power over dynamic that is extracting from the energy of the beings around you. And that is the last thing that you want to do.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Incredible.
And so instead of that, you can recognize it's coming up, and as a leader, share vulnerably where you are and what is important to you. Yeah. What is important to you in a space when we're talking about energy, because that's what it's all about. And I got to do that with Danny the other day. My first day when I got back in, I got to do that with Danny. I got to share with her what was coming up. Wow. And that I'm working through this right now. And that why it's important for me for the space to feel clean and clear, because there's so much energy moving through this space. And we as these holders of this space, to have it clear feels beautiful. And the way to get there is through being present. Yeah. Not being in our phones. But I didn't even say that piece, but these are the actions of it. Not being in our phones, being right where we are. There's so many things that we can do to clear the space. Beautify. All day.
To just be of service.
Yeah, to be of service.
Service.
All day.
Service. Yeah. I mean,
and if that is connecting with a being who's in need, and that's what you do for 2 hours of the day, then that's what you're meant to be doing. It's about being present. And when we're present, we see clearly. Yeah. We see clearly places that we can clear out the cobwebs so that it can more energy can move through these crevices, through these spaces. And that's how we hold energy and hold space for beings. That is true space holding. And that is the gift that the being gets to receive when you don't follow that thread.
Yeah.
When you don't follow that thought, when you're vulnerable, because true leadership is vulnerability at its core.
Humility and vulnerability. Wow. That's so cool that you guys had that drop in. That's incredible. Wow. Yeah. And like, I mean, yeah, super inspiring, because I mean, that's the only way. Right? Like,
it's the only way.
We have to just, like, especially in your, because for context, we're referencing a coffee shop that you could label
as a coffee shop. What is it?
It's
the label is a cafe, coffee shop, but what is it?
A coffee shop, but like, we're just gonna call it a coffee shop that has all the healing modalities one could ever want. Yeah. And really good coffee. But like, we're referencing the cafe, and we're referencing the ability to just like connect with the beings that we have called in to help be of service for the space. And that is, wow, what a gift.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
They're stewarding it with us, right? And when a being feels that they have been welcomed into any space that feels safe to be that which you are. And that is the whole purpose. That is holding space. And that's the work that we get to do every day, is to keep going deeper with our level of awareness, to keep being that light for anyone around us, so they can feel it too.
What came up for me while you were talking about that was this funny sense of like how I'd love to do a thread, because we didn't get to it. This is a big thread.
Yeah.
So many threads, infinite threads. The thread of just like a pathway to self through motherhood, and also, and for me, through relationship. And relationship is obviously with all beings, but if I was to just say like, okay, like, you know, at certain points in your life, your pathway to self is going to be rooted in different things and different mirrors. There's going to be like a primary mirror for a temporal period of time. And like for me, for a long time, it was myself. And then it like, now I just feel it so strongly in Claudia. And I feel that for you in the twins, you know, and like, that's a wonderful thread.
Oh my God, that's many chapter thread.
Yeah, that's a infinite one. But I feel that this was incredible.
I know.
So good.
I love you so much.
I love you too. Praise the Lord.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Absolutely. Praise the Lord. Yep. So the title was
Mother Earth?
No, it was something to do with Mother Earth.
My guru is Mother Earth.
My guru is
Mother Earth is my guru.
Mother Earth is my guru. I fucking love that.
I know.
You couldn't come up with a better headline.
I know. When I was sitting with the ocean once, that's what she shared with me.
Wow.
Because gurus kept coming up. I don't know where it was coming, but like, where I was like, I don't have one. I have many speakers and teachers that I just love and resonate, and I go back to them for different points of support of remembering love in my heart. But there were, you know, and I was feeling like I needed one. It was this funny moment. I needed one, and I was just sitting. I was sitting outside. I don't remember if it was on the beach or just outside our house on the porch, and that's what came to me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
I'm your guru.
What
this is
sentence.
Your guru. But there's no.
I feel like that's a potential domain / podcast name. My guru is Mother Earth. For a title, it's potent.
There you go. It just was birth, just like birthing a child.
Yeah. Well, I feel inspired to do a little prayer.
Yes.
And if you want to do a prayer too, great.
I will listen.
This is a classic prayer that comes through every morning, actually, when I wake up for almost months now. It's been really cool. I just wake up and I'll usually grab my heart and I'll not physically speak this, but feel into it of, to thee, O Lord, I give thanks for this beautiful day and for this life that is eternal. And that's the morning prayer that I have. And it's super simple. It's like a half a second. And to like wake up in that state every morning has been, wow, such a moment of just like, whew, okay, back in the body, infinite life. Let me just thank you. Amen. All right. And how may I be of service to mankind? Please guide me. Amen. You know, and it's just like, and then to just get like blown like a leaf in the wind every day, in the sense that we are just directionless beings, because we are beings of nature, and nature does not follow a linear path. So it's just of extreme gratitude that we get to be here and have this wonderful awareness and experience this incredible experience called human life, like the human experience. Wow. Right. So,
but look what the gift that you remember that when you wake up. Right. Like you are sharing it now means that you remember it consistently and with devotion. And that's the way through is devotion to this knowing, devotion to this gratitude, devotion to the earth, devotion to unconditional love for the self. And that's the gift that we get to give. That's taking the curriculum of the human experience.
Closing prayer from you. Whatever comes through.
Thank you. Thank you to Earth for showing us, for being vulnerable, for holding us, for holding us through all of this. We see you. We see the suffering, and it's not yours to hold. And we see how you so gracefully shed what is not yours. And we're in awe of you. We're in deep awe of the beauty that you hold at your core, of your ability to regenerate, your ability to be vitalized with love. And you teach us so much. And we love you. We love you.
We love you so much.
I feel like I could sit in this all day.
I'm right there with you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to just keep it like this for a while. I'm fully with you.
Right? And then like you get to this place and then you're like, okay, we shift into something else. Okay, we shift into something else. But how many moments of this do we have every day with these connections we're having with people here? Just like pure bliss like that.
Yeah.
It's like, who could you have ever fathomed that this is what life feels like?
No.
Could you have projected? Could you have planned it on a business deck?
Can't imagine.
Could you have done it?
you can't even describe it with words that well. It's like when you try to, it's really nowhere near.
Where's the deck to show us this?
Yeah, nowhere to be found.
Because how could you?
No, it's like, whew.
I know. And so it is. And so it is. So it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow. That is an infinite space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what I sensed around the biocharger with like the 6 people when we were all doing it.
Yeah. That's what it does. It creates these energy fields that we can create naturally through human connection to the earth, to each other, when we're aligned through our
wow.
energy centers.
I love that you're calling this out. Yes.
Yeah. And
I don't need a biocharger.
Right. And how cool is it that it's here, that we can tap into it when we're feeling low, that it is a tool that we have here.
Even cooler.
That's it. But
That's amazing.
It's not needed, and it's not meant to become a crutch.
A crutch. Yeah.
It is a tool, just like meditation is a tool.
It's like an incredible bridge to show someone like, yeah, okay, this is possible.
Yeah.
And then no, you actually don't even need the machine.
No. Just like you don't need any medicinal herbs to get you anywhere. They are support, and they support the system clearing and transmitting and transitioning. They are the support. They are beautiful, like sisters and brothers and grandmothers and grandfathers. And it's all within us already.
Yeah. Brenna, I just wanted to take a moment to just feel into the infinite amount of love that is felt in my heart and our connection. And it has been the most special and unplanned unfoldment ever. And it was such a shift for me, and you and John both have been such bridges to the other side. Like, so to just even be here with you and feel into this infinite space is already like, wow. Dear Lord, must have been more than just one past lifetime. Right? I know I remember that one, right? But like there has to be a million others, because
like,
I don't know,
yeah, you know? Obviously.
Or maybe, and this is the coolest part about all of this, because it's infinite potentialities. Maybe there only was one lifetime, and this is just how far each of us have come in the journeys to be able to connect in this way, because we're just in this frequency. So it's an absolute honor to just be here, and my love for you feels like it's deepening every moment, every moment. So
I feel that, and I mean, divine recognizes divine. I feel that's how I feel about you. That's why it's coming through. It's aligned. Thank you for creating this space.
Yay.
Thank you for, like, wow, how you've just...
Claudia was a huge influence.
My God.
Claudia.
You've just become, I don't know. You're there. You're it. Doing it. Talk about quantum leaps. Wow. It's been, I shared this with Claudia yesterday because it's how I feel. It feels like joy to see you shining so much. And when I see both of you shining, so let's just talk about you here right now. It's so beautiful. Seeing you stand in your power of love is like pretty cool. So Thank you.
Yay. Amen. Aho.
Aho. Amen. Blessed be.
Blessed be. I want to know more of those endings, you know?
Yeah.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Till next time.
It's like coming out of a spaceship,
I know.
right? You're like in
Wow.
here and then it's in here and wow. I was telling Josh, I was like, bro, we're in the spaceship.
Did you guys record the other
We
day?
did one yesterday. It was
You did?
incredible.
Did you sing or was it
No, it was just like a podcast format. And it to the point where I mean this just like the realizations and synchronicities that occurred. Wow. It's been, I don't know how long.
Months. That's it.
Yes.
Not lifetimes.
Only months.
We've been together for lifetimes.
Yes.
And this is how, when energy comes together and sees each other, when the divine recognizes the divine, you organize and you bring something to life in moments of flash. Because you know it's so potent to share. And that's what we're doing.
Oh.
Purity Pals Production, yay!